Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Set the Pipe. I'm Sully. I'm with Coley Keim and CK, and I'm with Bear Tim Johnson as well. Today, we have our first D2 head coach. She happens to be a 49er. That's right. So you know this episode is going to be awesome. I want to bring on Cal Poly Pomona head coach, Traci Dahl. Traci Dahl, welcome to Set the Pipe.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tracy.
I know it's been a while, but I'm glad we were able to make it happen. Yeah, I'm here.
I know, right? So sit back, relax a little bit. We're going to talk about you. Traci Dahl has a distinguished volleyball career, both as a player and a coach. She started as a standout player in college after her junior college, which I'll get to, notably at Long Beach State, where she was a part of the 1993 National Championship team and earned multiple All-American honors. She also excelled at Cerritos College, at the community college, right? Bear, it's not junior college, community college.
Community college, thank you.
There you go. Where she was named the California State Player of the Year in 1992. She got into coaching. Traci has notable stints, including serving as head coach at Indiana State University from 2008 to 2016, where she became the winningest coach in the program's history with 101 wins. And let me tell you, it is a tough place to win, and she just busted her tail. We'll get into that as I went on a coaching stint at UNI and as well as Bradley. So we got to see each other, rekindle that friendship, which has been great. Then she actually left Indiana State and became the head coach at Cal Poly Pomona, where she's at today, leading the team to a record-setting seasons, NCAA tournament appearance, and multiple conference titles. Her 2024 season with Cal Poly Pomona was marked by a program best, guys, 25-4 record, 17-1 in conference win streak, and earning the CCAA Coach of the Year and the ABCA West Region Coach of the Year honors. Boys, welcome, Traci Dahl.
Welcome, Traci. So happy to have you.
Thank you.
So happy to have you.
Quite a resume there.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, when you hear all that and you look back at your playing days and all the things that you've accomplished as a coach, how does it make you feel?
I think hearing all of it, makes you feel accomplished, obviously, but you get so wrapped up in the day-to-day grind that you kind of forget about all the stuff that you've done in the past. But it's funny because I just got a text message from Long Beach State, and they're going to be honoring our national championship team, the 93 team, in January. So it's like, even though it seems like yesterday, it was a long time ago, but we're still, being honored and for what we did. I think I was
That's
very
Hall
lucky.
Of Fame, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at those kind of things, I mean, you coach right now and you coach at an elite level. And for folks that don't understand or know Division II sports in general, it's fantastic. And the conference you guys are in is arguably one of the best conferences in the country in every sport across the D2 level. But, you played for a national championship. You won a national championship at the D1 level in volleyball. Like, it's an incredible experience to be a part of. And what you're doing at this level or the level before is just got to be so rewarding for you. And it's so fun to watch and to see and to have you on here. So again, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. What was actually really funny was saw her at UNI, right? So excited to see her at the McLeod Center in Cedar Falls at the campus of Northern Iowa. And then when I was at Bradley, I really got to talk to Traci a little bit about Division I Indiana State. They had crock pots. The coaches brought crock pots of food for the kids to eat because their budget wasn't as big as everybody else's. This is how much dedication Traci put towards the program. She put towards their players. And I just, that has always stuck with me, Traci. And the fact that you just grinded and also that you kept the 714 area code phone number. I remember that. And because she's like, that's home. And sure enough, look where she's at, guys. She's back down in Southern California. Absolutely killing it. And so when for everybody to hear about her stats, yes, 101 wins at Indiana State, winningest coach ever in the history there. But she started, guys, in 2019 in Pomona at 8-16, right? Jeez. 8-16. They got 10th in conference. Then all of a sudden, they had the COVID year. And then coming back 2021, she's 23-5. She went from 8-16 to 23-5, 24-6, 22-8, 25-4, getting second, tie for third, and then actually winning it this past season. And Coley just sent me the recent your win streak what does it say, Coley? 16 game win streak right now, match win streak.
16, and you're undefeated in league. What's the secret for you? What are you doing out here to create, let's call it I don't say a dynasty, but to create a winner and a culture that's going to continue to win? What are you doing different, or what are you doing that's making it good for you right now?
I will say, like Sully talked about Indiana State a little bit, it was tough to recruit there. It was just a tough place to get kids to want to go. And so when I moved back home to Cal Poly Pomona area, Cal Poly is obviously a really good school, very well known for different degrees, engineering, agriculture, hospitality. So it's super easy for me to sell the school, and Sully mentioned that 2019 record. That's something I don't ever want to experience again. We went from, I was hired on as an associate head coach in 2017 and 2018. And then my boss, Rosie Wegrich, who was a well-known coach there for 28 years, retired. And I was the acting head coach in 2019. So that was a tough year. I mean, the cupboard was dry. all the seniors graduated, the coach graduated, everybody left. And so we had like 10 freshmen on the team, and we were kind of rebuilding. And then COVID hit. So I actually got the permanent head coaching job in February. And then 2 weeks later, we were out, like gone. Okay, ladies, I'll see you back here. I don't know when, but, let's keep in touch. And so that's what happened with COVID. And 17 months, throughout that 17 months that we were off, just really kind of had a program reset, and the players decided they don't want to be in that same situation in 2019. And so I got a lot of like really well-known people to come on and talk with the team, like different areas of people to come and talk with the girls. And actually one of them was Danielle Scott. She was gracious enough to come in and did a Zoom with my team, and the girls just loved it, and so she was a teammate of mine at Long Beach State. And I just really appreciated that because, there's so much more volleyball that my players don't know about, and so it was nice to be able to give them the opportunity to meet an Olympian during the COVID times.
With your success as being a coach, and you're a successful player too, playing for Brian Gimolero, do you use any of what you learned from him as your coaching style? Do you still use any of that, or do you just kind of do your own thing?
I think in my early years, I was probably more of a tyrant, coaching. But I think now, visually kind of just going through the years, you sort of just develop your own way of doing things, and what works for each team might be different each year, So I think, I've taken a lot of stuff from Brian. He's a true winner, and I want to win. And so, I remember my junior year going into Long Beach State. It wasn't about us telling the coaching staff our goals. The coaching staff told us we're going to win a national championship, and so then we went on our way and we started practice, so I think with the players I have now, when we recruit, I do a really nice job of vetting them out and figuring out if they're going to be a genuine fit for the program, so I think that coaching style, I'm not a yeller, but they do know the expectations, and we do a lot of that in practice. And so once we're starting to play the game, it's let's go, ladies. It's their turn to shine, and I don't ever feel the need to yell at them or demean them in any way.
Question for you: your program is just doing nothing but going straight up. What's it going to take to get to that national level where you're in a Final Four and winning a national championship?
Yeah, so CK, we got to get out of our region. And the West region is probably it is the toughest region in the United States. And so you've seen it in the past, San Bernardino in 2019 got out of the region, won a national championship. LA got out of the region, won a national championship. San Francisco beat us last year in the regional championship. And then they went to the final match. So I think our biggest goal is to obviously take it one day at a time, one match at a time. But my players have a huge intent on getting out of the region, so that's going to be the biggest thing is once we get out of our region, I think we can start to see a different style of volleyball.
So caliber of play, Missouri Valley Conference, obviously tough, right? For a mid-major, when I was at UNI in 2012, I think they had 5 teams go to the NCAA, right? So super tough. Where would you compare, knowing that it was pretty difficult to recruit to Indiana State, your Indiana State teams versus your Pomona teams? And I'm not trying to disregard Indiana State at all, because you were there for 9 years and you actually worked your butt off. But Southern California is a little different. Your conference is a little different. Is it pretty comparable, Tracy?
Yeah, I think we tend to play a lot of Division I schools in the spring, and we also play a lot of Division I schools for our scrimmage season during the fall. We'll play Fullerton, Irvine, we played Long Beach just last year. And so I think that my Pomona team would definitely be in the mid-major. I mean, I think we can beat a lot of D1 schools. I think if I were to comparing Indiana State to Cal Poly, probably just a little more athletic right now. A little more athletic.
Interesting.
Has NIL and the portal affected Division II volleyball?
Yeah, so the transfer portal has been really good to us. You have to take it with a grain of salt. You've got your high school seniors, that are really good, a lot of really good players out there. And then you have your transfer portal. And so we've had some success with both. And so, with the portal, we're on it all the time when it opens, just in case we want to get someone that maybe needs to fit a certain immediate need for us, And then as far as the NIL is concerned, it hasn't really affected me yet, but I think it's coming. That time's coming where we're going to have to find ways to get these players out there and get them some NIL deals. We can't compare it to the power schools.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. We've talked about it a lot, and I talked to a Division I coach this past weekend, and I asked him the same question, and he was like, "It doesn't really funnel down to us that much." He's like, "I'm not really." It's a high academic school. They're a Division I school, but he's like, we have a certain type of person they recruit, and it's not as big of a deal right now to them right now. But like you said, It's coming, right? And every school is going to have to find something, even if it's a sandwich deal or something where they're getting something just to prove their worth or to be a part of the culture of NIL, right? And it's going to be interesting to watch over the next 3 to 5 years.
CK, is that you're absolutely right with the NIL. Some of the girls are like, maybe we can get on a billboard or something just to start the process, or we can get some type of deal where hair care product, whatever it is, it doesn't need to be big time, but it just needs to start. So once I get that started, I think we're gonna roll.
Yeah, and not that I'll give you some suggestions, but when my kid was playing basketball, he was playing at a pretty big school back in the day when the first year it happened, and he was getting stuff like $250 a month and 1 or 2 posts. He got one from clothing where it was like $500, and he got like a couple $100 worth of clothes to do like, a post and stuff. Like that matters to a freshman in college. Like, could you imagine all 4 of us, you 3 at Long Beach and me at Northridge, someone giving us $700 a month? Like we just said 7 right there. That's just, $500 deal was with Urban Outfitters.
$50 back then.
$50. Well, I just wanted a sandwich, but like, that's the kind of stuff, Tracy, that like just small stuff, being involved in the community, doing stuff with the community business where they're giving a little, not a lot. It's not, everyone doesn't have to give all this money so athletes can get rich, but just a little bit. And they're giving back, right? Going into the community, doing events, doing things for whoever's giving them the sponsors. And, again, all of us, $500, $700 a month. That's a lot of money when you're a college kid to get for just posting of you and a brand of something, right? Like, so, I wish you the best in that. And also, I'm sure there's a lot of an amazing alumni at the school that, hopefully they can, not funnel, but create some kind of a constant base so you can create that culture for the women you're recruiting, that they get the opportunity to not just only play for a national championship and be part of a great program, but get a chance to make a little money too,
Yeah, I agree. I think the days are gone where we're just student athletes and we're playing for championships. And now, because there's just so much more money out there, that if I could say to my incoming recruits, okay, here's what we can offer you. And not only can we offer you scholarship money, but we can offer you this NIL, money as well. That's going to be a really good day for Cal Poly Pomona.
Yeah.
Now, Division I went to 18 scholarships, right? Did Division II move from 8?
No, it's not affecting us right now. So we actually got a lot of the trickle down from the Division I. So no, we have 21 on our roster this year.
And how many full scholarships is it fully funded for Division II women's volleyball? Is it 8 or 13?
8. It's 8. Yeah.
Oh, it's
It
8.
is 8. Okay. It is 8. So they haven't shifted yet.
So when I was a freshman in college, which was the fall of 1989, I actually came to the Pomona gym to watch one of my really good friends, Abby, who was a friend of mine through high school, and she played at Humboldt State. And that year, Northridge was also Division II before they went to Division I. So that's probably the last time, which is shame on me, that I've seen a Division II volleyball match. So I'd love you to paint. We've had Al Skates. We've had Jared Elliott, who coaches at Texas. We've had coaches in high school. So you're our first Division II coach, and you're coaching at one of the best programs in the country, and clearly, if not the best in the West, one of the best in the West. Paint us a picture of what it's like at that level. Like you said, you can beat some Division I teams, and there's no doubt in my mind you could. A lot of D2 schools that every sport could beat Division I for sure. The top teams for sure. Just paint us a picture of what it's like in your league and just overall at the Division II level, like maybe a little bit of the differences between D2 and D1.
Yeah, so our conference is arguably one of the toughest conferences in the nation, which has been great because now we're starting to creep up and we're able to compete, for conference championships, and we're obviously hoping to compete for a national title. I think when it comes to Division I versus Division II, I take a lot of the training that we got at Long Beach State, all of that, the expectations, the everything, the expectations of what you want to do as a player. I take that with me to Pomona as well. So we're not necessarily training like a D2 team would train, if that makes sense. A lot of people think, oh, D2 is just a lower level D1, or D2 is just a lower level volleyball. Absolutely not. If you were to come into our gym, we've got probably over 10 players jumping over 10 feet, so that right there alone is telling you that, we're up there and we're able to compete with some bigger schools, but when it comes to D1 versus D2, I think that Division II probably has a little more of a balance, I think that there's not as much, not necessarily pressure, but time constraints. We're very aware as a coach. I'm very aware of my student athletes, time that they give. They've got to go to school. They've got a social life. They've got other things outside of volleyball that are important to them. And I think the more I can be understanding of that, the more they're going to give back in the gym and to the program, so it's a collective effort.
That's awesome.
So how we recruit is definitely.
Guys, she's got a player that put away another delay. Sorry, Tracy. I was going to say you had a kid on there, Ellie Walker, logging in 34 kills, boys. Second most in a match in school history under Tracy's tutelage. I think she's got some athletes there.
That's
34
crazy,
kills.
especially with Raleigh scoring 34 kills.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
We had against East Bay at Cal State East Bay, Sarah Ibarra had 45 kills in a 5-setter. So it's ironic that both of those two different players had 45 kills and 34 kills against the same team.
Sick. That is.
And you won both, which is amazing. So I'm going to go back to a quick question because I think for just me personally, and probably maybe for our listeners, by the way, thanks for listening, hit subscribe, and you always set the pipe. In regards to not the level, but like you've watched Division I, I'm sure on TV, like it's everywhere. It's growing through the roof. You're watching, games on Sunday, and your Nebraska's playing Wisconsin. It's incredible. Is the speed the same? And are you guys running as fast, as offenses as the women are at that level when we're watching Division I on TV, for an example?
Yeah, I think it just depends what team you're watching Division I. I think we run a very fast offense. I like to run a fast offense, a faster offense. So I think my players, they like the fast offense as well. We don't like the high go ball. We want to run almost not a zero tempo slide, but a pretty quick slide, And so I think if we're watching, teams like Nebraska and so forth, they're just on a whole nother level. But I think it just depends on who you're watching, because I watch a lot. I mean, now it's all over the place. It's ESPN3, it's ESPN2. I mean, we've got matches on CBS. It's amazing what has happened, in the last 10 to 12 years of volleyball.
So being a woman that played volleyball at the pinnacle in the 90s and won a national championship, played with some pretty superstar players on your collegiate team. How does it make you feel to see the game go where it's going and where it is today?
I mean, it's fantastic, CK. I can give you an example. In 1993, at the national championship match, I think there was 11,500 people in Wisconsin. 50 of those fans were Long Beach State fans. The rest of them were going for Penn State. Okay. So now we're looking at that,
Right.
like that was huge, right? 11,000 people for a women's volleyball game. Now we're looking at that on the regular. So I think that that's something that our sport has just grown, and it's the top women's sport, in my opinion. You know, now with the LOVB and opportunities for these young ladies to stay in the United States and now play volleyball is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, with both leagues, the other, it's just, what's exciting for me is, I married a volleyball player, and and my son's about to marry another volleyball player, and just to see the game grow like it's grown, but more importantly, when us three grew up as kids, we want to be in the NFL, or we want to play in the NBA, or we want to play in the major leagues, or we want to play in the NHL. Like you're a woman when you're growing up in those days, like you want to you play tennis. Like that's what you that's what you had to look forward to. And so to see this on such a grand scale, it truly warms my heart, because I said, I just gave you a few of the reasons. Plus I love the sport, and to see women having an opportunity to play a sport, to play a professional sport, here. And the way it's going for both leagues, whether they become one or not, if they continue to push the way they're pushing, these are going to become the top leagues in the world very quickly. You're going to get these top teams from Italy and the players from, whether it's Japan right now, you're going to see them coming over here. There's going to be more sponsors, more money. It's like every, sports league there is in America. So it's exciting to be a part of the journey to watch. We get to talk about it a little bit, have people like you that are representing it at all your levels. You played it in high school, were super successful. You played it in college, you won a national championship. You coach at the Division I level, now you're dominating at the Division II level. And it's just cool to see. And I talk about it all the time, and with a lot of energy, because it's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for that. And I think that there's just more to come. I mean, it's just nothing's going to stop this growth of volleyball, I don't think, right now. And it's really good to see. I mean, if you think about the young girls that are starting to play volleyball, they're starting like at 9-10 years old now. Back when I was in high school, I started as a sophomore in high school, literally sophomore in high school. By chance, I didn't know what this volleyball coach wanted with me. He's like, you're tall, you've got to get out of the band and you got to play volleyball. And I was like, okay, you can get me out of these parades, then I will play volleyball. And that's where it all started.
That's awesome.
That's what a great story. I mean, it's different stories, but similar for all three of us. Like we weren't growing up with volleyball, right? We got into it late and in our high school years, or even after. And it's such a fun sport, and it's such a great community and everything that goes with it. And so it's cool and unique that you get to continue to teach the game that you grew up with, and through the end of your high school years and all through college. And who's the best team, or who's been the best team in your region outside of your league? Like, give me one or two other teams that are some of the top two teams year in and year out.
Year in and year out in our region. The Central and the Western Washington, they're always really competitive. So we try to get them in the beginning of the season, in the non-conference season. They're always really, really tough. I think that within our region, it's been between San Bernardino, LA, and us every year. It's like the three of us are kind of battling things out, which has been nice. San Francisco State made a run last year, which was good for our conference. So I think those teams are pretty good. Chaminade's been very good in the past from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I want to know if you brought to Indiana State or Pomona the Long Beach traditions of disco parties. Are you kind of helping influence your kids on that, or are you just kind of like leaving that in the past? I'm just wondering. I mean, it brought us all together. I don't know. It's just kind of curious.
Yeah, no, there's no disco parties happening right now. So, but I guess we could probably start it.
What kind of culture do you have then?
There might be disco parties. She just doesn't know.
Yes.
And that's probably the right thing to say into.
I know nothing.
Yes, exactly. That's incredible.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at Northridge, when I first started there, they were Division II in every sport. Men's volleyball played up to D1, but I thought it was incredible to be a part of, and it's a little bit of a different approach than these big Power 5 schools. Like, they're so big and they're so disjointed within the athletic department because they're so busy, and it's a job. How do you sell that as part of your culture to bring people or young women to your program to create that togetherness and an experience they could get for 4 years?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of our culture in general. My team really enjoys each other. They enjoy each other's company. When we bring a recruit on campus, I tell them, like, we have a recruit coming on, we're going to have lunch together, but they're all involved and they all want to be involved because they want to see what kind of players we're bringing on. And then I ask them as well, like, how do you feel about this person? Because it's not just me. If I might like a player that's super good and super athletic, but if she's not going to jive with the team, then it'll be a problem. So I think everybody's involved in this culture building per se. It's not just me delegating, like, this is how it's going to be. I feel like when recruits come on campus, the first thing they say to me is how welcome they feel. And that makes me feel good because I know that my players are putting in the time and the effort to make these recruits feel good about Cal Poly. When it comes to selling the school and selling the program, I think our travel schedule can be kind of a really nice thing, because we're up and down California. We don't have to go out of California unless we choose to in the non-conference. And, unlike different schools, like maybe some players are telling me, hey, coach, I'm being recruited, back east and so forth. And I'm like, well, look at their travel schedule because you're going to be gone a lot. And so we typically are gone Thursday through Saturday, if not Friday and Saturday. And the girls have all that other time for their academics and everything else that they want to do,
That's big. I mean, that's the one thing that I don't like about college sports anymore. We all three played it. I have an older son that finished 2 years ago and playing basketball. And I have another one that just actually signed today and is going to play college basketball next year. It's become that of so much of a business that what you just talked about is being a student athlete, right? And like a student is on the quad during the Tuesday when there's people talking and mingling and learning to meet people. Like, that's part of being a student and going to college. And because of the way it's become a business, it's always been a business, but really a business. That's taken away a lot for some of these bigger schools for all the reasons, like if you're at UCLA and you're in the Big Ten and you're playing soccer, you're playing Rutgers on a Tuesday night in New Jersey and you're flying home. And then you're going back on to Penn State on Friday. Like, there's what about your friend's birthday that was Wednesday around
football
campus
games
that you're missing?
Yeah.
And, those things, like, I don't know that. And I know a lot of the women that you played with, from Joy and Misty and a bunch of others. And I know how the culture was and how you loved each other and what it was about. Like, a lot of people, and what you're saying, which makes me so happy. And I've tried to beg here for Division I coaches to change, is that's being lost. And I don't care how much money you make, those kind of memories and soulful food gatherings with your community of your team are being lost. And we're sitting here, us three right here, 30 years later, competitors in college, teammates from club, still friends and remembering all that. If we were doing what they were today, we probably wouldn't even have talked to each other in college, unless we were high school friends, because it's so busy. So sorry for rambling. I just want to say, keep it up. That's an important piece for these young women when they move on to the next part of their lives, whatever that is, to be able to have those memories to hold on to and to get them through, the tough times. And so good for you. And I'm cheering for you. Where is your tournament normally? Is it at the championship, the first place team, or is it always somewhere every year?
Yeah, it'll be at Cal State Stanislaus next week. So it's different every year. So last year we hosted it. So we were fortunate to host the conference tournament, and then a week later we hosted the regional tournament. So that was fun.
If you, excuse me, let me rephrase that. When you win the conference tournament, will you host the regional?
Not necessarily, no. Like, actually, the first regional rankings just came out today, and they have us 8, and the top 8 go to NCAAs. So we've got a little bit of work to do. I think that there's just a lot of discrepancies with these rankings that just came out, but we've got a little bit of work to do. We've got another week and a half to kind of rise up to at least hopefully a different number.
Bear, what you got for Tracy?
Well, I kind of wanted to go back to your Long Beach days and like right after Long Beach a little bit. Did you have opportunities to play after Long Beach, like, internationally or maybe for our national team? Or did you want to go into coaching? Can you just give us a little bit of information on that time of your life?
Yeah. So I do have a regret, Bear. And that regret is I could have gone to play in Spain, and I didn't do it. I went and I got a job, a full-time job, and I didn't do it. And if I can do anything, go back and do anything, I would have gone to Spain and played a little bit, just because, you're right out of college, you're still young, if that's the time to do it. Yeah. And I didn't do it. So I got a high school.
It was so hard for us though back then, Tracy, though. It was so hard. There was no internet. There was no instant connections with agents. There was nothing like that. So I always felt like, I don't know, the lucky few got to do it, or back for the guys, it was Karch and Steve Timmons and all these Olympians. And then all of a sudden Bear's like, oh yeah, I'm going to France. I'm like, what? How did you go to France? Like, what? I thought that was
Columbia.
I thought it was
Columbia.
great, but
thank you,
but it was were you ever approached? I mean, more than to go to Spain, and how were you approached with that? Because I just don't remember it being such a thing.
Yeah, it really wasn't. I was only approached about the Spain deal, and that was actually through Tresonia Thompson. Remember Tresonia Thompson?
Yeah.
She was like an agent back then, or some sort, and we had talked for a little while, and then I just didn't follow through with it, So I started living what I thought was life, corporate America or whatever. Here we are.
And then how did you come back around and get into coaching then? How did you get back into the volleyball world?
I was working in the corporate America, for the human resources, and that just was not for me. I'm like, this can't be what life is all about. And so I had a friend that worked at Downey High School, and she said, well, hey, look, let's get you hired on as a teacher, but the stipulation is you're going to have to coach volleyball. And I was like, no problem. Of course I'll coach volleyball. So I go and I talk to the principal, and he says, yeah, it's the boys volleyball team. And I was like, oh no, I'm not coaching the boys volleyball team. And
Not
so
those stinky boys.
Right. So then ended up doing it, which was great. I still talk to a lot of them to this day. It's amazing. But a funny thing is that my friend at the time said to the team, we found you a coach, and they're an All-American. And they're like, who is he? Who is he? And they're like, no, it's a she, So I coached boys for a good couple years, and then realized that I kind of wanted to do a bigger pond, recruit in a bigger area outside of the quad at the school. And in high school, I was being recruited by Hofstra University, and the coach at the time, she would call me almost every day. And I'm like, I'm not going to New York. I'm not going to New York. I'm not going to go to New York. And then a job opened up there. And that's how I started Division I. I called her. I said, Fran, I'm ready to go to New York if you want to have me as your assistant. So, so that happened. And I was there for a year and came back and worked at Cal State Fullerton for a few years. So
that's quite a ride. Yeah,
it was interesting, guys. When I talked to Tracy, you and I, for a little bit before the match started, and, Traci Dahl, two-time All-American, she was a, junior college MVP, right? Sure, it's got to be easier to recruit those California kids to Indiana, right? I mean, she's got the pull.
Replace that with community college, please.
Oh, sorry. Yes, community college player of the year. Sorry, Bear. Yeah, that's an ongoing thing, Tracy. Anyway, so JC player of the year. Anywho, and I was like, gosh, Tracy, you've got all these connections, and she's like, nope, they don't leave California. Nope. And that was really the first time I thought about it. Like, wait a minute, you got opportunities, you got all these connections. And she's like, I tried my first couple years at Indiana State. And then she's like, nope, I have to go more local, more Midwest. And such a mind shift for me, because thinking California, it's where the place to be. And that's where all of our connections are. I thought it was kind of an epiphany for me, to be quite honest, Tracy. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I mean, you're doing it. She goes, don't even bother. Don't even bother going over there. They're not going to come out.
Yeah, it's hard. There's really no reason for the California girls to leave California. There's so many opportunities out here.
But Pomona, hello.
Right. And that's what you got to be selling now, right? That's a great way to sell it. Like, you're still living in California. You're playing in an unbelievable league, if not the best in the country, against great players every night in and night out. And usually you can sell this. Usually the team from your region is playing in the Final Four. We'll leave it at that. It sounds like a lot of them are winning the Natty, but like that's a great sell. I mean, this, you played it, you're here. I mean, I see it. The volleyball in Southern California for from 12U on up is just ridiculous. I mean, I go to these events and see these 12-year-olds like running pipes, little 12-year-olds running slides, and not like trying to do it, like little setters throwing back sets, banging the ball. You're like, wow, you're 12 years old. Like I didn't even know what a volleyball was when I was 12. So that's awesome. You get to recruit all of that here on the West Coast.
Yeah, it's really nice to see too the club tournaments, how they've structured them now. They have the young players like the 12 and unders, 13 and unders, and so forth, playing with like the 18 and unders in the same tournament, same venue. So now these younger girls can go, on their break and go and watch the future, of what they want to be like. So that's kind of nice to see.
Yep.
And that's building the right relationship and the right structure to make young girls want to be great. Like I just talked about earlier, we're watching Be Like Mike, right? Like Be Like Mike when we were kids. Like if you're 12 years old and you live in Arizona and the number one player in the country is over there on court 12, who's a junior in high school here, like why wouldn't you go watch her? Like, first of all, she's going to be playing at Nebraska, in 2 years, but like, why not go watch her? Because you're going to learn and get excited. And that should, not for all, but if they love the game, going to make them even hungrier, make them want to work even more. Ask their parents, can I go pepper with you outside? Like, I love this game. I love this game. So that's cool that USA Volleyball has done that to just find ways to make the game better and create more excitement and more drive to make the game better.
Yeah. And I think just having, making sure they continue to have fun, that's the biggest thing. I mean, my players, they love to have fun, but to them, working hard is fun and competing is fun. And so they kind of make it really easy on me.
Hey, so Tracy, we all know that the coaching profession is a grind. How's your health?
I'm tired.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. No, it is a grind.
This time of the season too. This point of the season.
Yeah, it's a grind, but it's what we signed up for. And you kind of just got to look at it, not necessarily, in the beginning and then the end. You got to go through it and try to enjoy every day. Find something every day that you enjoy about the team or something in practice. Something we do at the end of every practice is we have shout outs. So, some days are better than others. And I know when we have a really good practice and I say, okay, what are the shout outs? I've got everyone raising their hands, and they want to shout out the teammate that they felt did something good that day. And so I think, it's all just part of it, but it's a lot of work, 6 days a week. And then your only day not going into the office is Sunday, but that's not a day off because, you've got to watch film and get ready for the next week. So we love it.
I'm amazed every day. I'm amazed every day at collegiate coaches from every level, the grind and what you have to do to be successful. And to be good and also to be good to your athletes. That takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of extra time of yours to put that into them so they can have a culture created for them to walk away from that school ready to take on the world as young women. And that takes a lot of energy from you, coach. That's why you're successful, but it doesn't go unnoticed from three folks like us who played for, great coaches and who have friends that have great coaches. We appreciate it. And I'm sure your athletes do. So I want to get a commitment from you because Al did it. He's a former 49er. So when you win the national championship this year, Al Knight came on the night after. I just want to make sure we're confirmed that when you win the national championship, just because the Long Beach connection, you come on the pod the next night or two after you win this year. Are we good with that once you win the title this year?
Absolutely. Done deal.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you.
Perfect. Awesome. Those 49ers, but now we're going for Pomona. I'd love to see you guys get out of your region. You guys have come so close. You guys are really good this year. You're undefeated. You're on a heck of a win streak. You just got to stay healthy and push through. And one question I have for this team, are a lot of the women on this team, are they senior heavy? Were they there last year during a great year and then just not getting to that where you wanted to get to?
Yeah. So we graduated, probably 90% of our starting lineup, maybe 85% of our starting lineup last year. Wow. So, but we did have a few girls that were freshmen last year that came on, and now like Elle Walker, Elle Walker did not play last year. And now she's my 01, starting 01 the whole entire season and doing an amazing job. And I'll tell you right now, we talk about the coaching commitments, but the player commitments are unbelievable too, because, you guys all know that for at least women's volleyball, the fall sport, you can't sit back all summer and just go to the beach and hang out. You've got to do your work in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my players, they understand that. And so they come back, they're not playing their way into shape. They're already in shape, so that's a really good commitment on their end. I have a freshman setter, and she's been doing great. I've got a couple, everybody's pretty much new outside of a few players.
Oh, new,
Wow.
new team at number 21 in the country boys, and they're only going up. They still have a couple matches left, but I wanted to pivot a little bit and talk about when recruiting. And we've talked to other coaches from the women's side, the men's side. How important, or how much importance do you put on the parent perspective, right? Is it different from when you recruited in Division I to Division II? Is it the same? Because it sounds like you've molded over the years, right? You said you were hard ass when you first started, and now you're not necessarily soft, right? But you're just different. You're more in tune with your players. When the parents come into play there, is it pretty big, or are the parents more hands off in Division II to compare to Division I, or is it the opposite? Can you educate us on like what you've seen and how you deal with that?
Yeah, I think from my experience, Division I at Indiana State, and even at Cal State Fullerton, and now at Cal Poly, our parents are very hands off. If anything, they're there to support us. Awesome. They love to do potlucks for the team, so I'll have them, cook a bunch of food, and then we feed the girls. I try to keep them involved. I've got a parent rep that we designate every year, and they kind of, rally the parents together for different big games. But I very rarely have like any kind of conversations per se about their child, whether it's playing time or anything, with parents. So I've been very lucky because I've heard some horror stories.
Yeah, real good.
Oh man, I hear so much at my friends that coach at the D1 level. It's surprising to me that parents actually email a Division I volleyball coach. It's so hard for me to grasp. I have two kids, like I said, one finished not too long ago. He's 25. The other's going to college next year. And I've never talked to one of their coaches ever about any of that ever. And I just...
Is that important though? I mean, do you look at that? So let's say you have a crazy parent, because we know they're all out there. Is that part of where you're looking over the fence on the athlete as well? Or is it 100% the athlete?
I think when I'm recruiting, I definitely look into the parents as well when I'm recruiting, and obviously,
Smart.
Obviously you can talk to, club coaches and recruiting services. I know you guys had Diane on the show, if let's say, if let's say I'm recruiting one of her kids, we'll talk about the whole gamut. We'll talk about the player, the parents, how they treat their parents, how they treat their friends, all that good stuff. Because
love that.
We can't have that.
Well, I mean, it's and you don't want it, right? Because you've coached and you played for so many years. Like, it's a toxic piece of something that can ruin a team for a year or a program or people's careers when it comes to putting the wrong person in the wrong situation. And that's why I think that some of the schools that are the most successful, listen, we all have our own issues here and there, and it's always going to be, and but putting the right person in your culture that you feel is the right family fit, and whatever the family is, but they're the right fit, that goes so over well, and that's what creates winning instead of toxic culture and toxicity in the room, and people want to leave and fight and don't want to be there. You don't want drama. Right. And it starts with I'm a parent. It does start with the parents. And that doesn't mean kids can't be great besides that, but you know what I mean. And that's an important piece. Yeah. And they've been telling us since I've been a kid, even though I was not the best parent, never towards the coaches or whatever, mainly towards my kid in the early days. But besides that piece, it's every time we went to a college showcase, I put my best foot forward and my face with a smile on. And, I always cheer for everyone, but like, I don't want a college coach who's recruiting my kid to look at me and think I'm an idiot. He doesn't want to take my kid, right? He wouldn't. So good for you that you do that and you vet out the right people for your school and your program.
I mean, they can ask Bear and I if you're an idiot. I mean, that's, I'll volunteer easy for that.
I mean, that's an easy one. All I have to do is ask my wife first and then my kids.
Just put it out there.
Like, hey, so he's guys, it means well, but yeah.
I want to put out there that the Division II volleyball championships are going to be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That would be December 11th through the 13th. I'm thinking I want to volunteer to go to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and interview Tracy there. What do you guys think about that one?
I think you should, and maybe we will.
Ooh,
I think that would be fantastic. All three of you on the flight. let's do this.
Ooh, see, she's calling us out as much as we're promising.
Like
okay, like I'm liking this right now. I might have
it.
to do that Florida trip, boys. It's not that far from me. Well, it's closer to me than you guys, but
A lot
anyway.
closer, but yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So guys, Tracy, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, just to talk a little bit more, CK, about, the culture piece and so forth. It's funny because high school seniors, they're all really good, right? And then they come to a college and everybody's good. They might be one good player on their high school team. Now you come to college and the gap gets a lot smaller, right? And so one of the things that we talk about is you've got to be happy with where you're at. You've got to be happy with your teammates, your coaches, the school, because if there is by chance you're not going to play, I don't want to hear from the families. I don't want to hear, because you're in a learning curve right now, per se. So I think that's something that we explain to the parents in the recruiting process,
Yeah, it's it's hard as a parent to watch your kid sit, and like my kid was a superstar in high school and he went to a D1 big time basketball program and sat a lot, right? He came off the bench and had a great career, but he sat a lot. And when you're not used to it and you're looking at things and, parents get frustrated and like, oh my God, all of those things. And like you said, you have to be prepared to understand where you're at, what you're doing. And if you're good with it, it's going to suck. It's always going to suck. It's still going to suck if you're not playing, but you got to be able to be team first. Right. And that's a hard thing to do for a lot of people.
Ellie Walker's perfect example. Freshman didn't start at all, and then all of a sudden banging out 34 kills the next year. I mean, that's a perfect example of hands-on. Like, okay, you have to have patience. You have to trust the system. You have to trust me. You have to trust the experience that we're going to do this right and do you right. So it's interesting.
It's going to be interesting to see how the NCAA.
No, go ahead, Tracy.
Go ahead, Tracy. Sorry.
It's going to be interesting to see if the NCAA approves the 5 year, 5 years of eligibility, no matter what.
Yep.
That's going to be really, because right now it's kind of putting my recruiting on a hold, because I've got players that are saying, hey, I want to come back, seniors that, hey, I want to come back for my last year if that does get approved. So we're hopeful going to hear about that in January. Yeah,
I was going to say, I thought it was softly approved for D2, NAIA, and D3, but D1 just pushed it to next year. But I thought the D2 and the other levels agreed to it already, like softly agreed. Do they have to vote on it in January? Is that what it is?
I think they're going to vote, but I've been told that it's going to pass. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, of course,
but
it will.
It's going to change things. It's going to change things because the 26 recruiting class might get pushed back a little bit.
Well, my question, and I don't know if you can answer this, but what happens if the D1 doesn't do it? Does the guy that plays 4 years at D1, can he go to his 5th year to a D2 school? Like,
I don't think so.
If those guys get 5 years, I think it'll be interesting because I guarantee you someone will sue and say, like, wait a second, like I still play in the same college. It's the NCAA. Like this kid got to play 5 years. So like, and again, if the D2 and NAIA and everyone passes it in January, I can't see how Division I won't pass it in 26 when they're going to vote on it again. I just couldn't see because of what we just talked about, the discrepancies of it all. It would be a nightmare for them to do that, I think. But what do I know?
Yeah, I think that is on the table. That's part of the conversation about the 4 years at a D1 and then their 5th year at a D2. I think that's part of what they're trying to figure out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So what about the junior college? Did you guys hear anything? I thought I saw something recently, but I didn't research in it in terms of junior colleges not counting for the first 2 years.
No, nothing's changed. It still counts as of today. Yeah. I've tried to tell people this. The lawsuit that went down was the quarterback at Vanderbilt. And what he was saying was the JC, when he was there, didn't give him his COVID year. So he argued that he deserved that year back because he wasn't playing football. So they gave it back. And that's where the whole every JC gets their years back. No, that's not what not saying they're not trying to do it, but that hasn't happened. I don't see it happening either, but I could be wrong. Right. But he got his year back. But again, that's another thing. If that was the case, how could I not have my son go play 4 years of basketball at Washington State and then come back and just say it wasn't, just go play at the junior college? Well, hey, you said he gets his 2 years. Like, that's not fair. Like, again, they would lose. I think they would lose lawsuits because people would do it. I mean, if I was done at Northridge and I was able to go back and play at Pierce just because I could play, I would have went and played.
Or the opposite, right? You're going to have 20-year-old freshmen.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
I mean, true freshmen.
So it'll be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
The opposite is probably more, right? Because you go in as a freshman and a sophomore at a junior college, and then now you've got another 4 years. Now you can just go get seasoned at a junior college. Let's say you're a little behind the, the 8 ball with athleticism or not. And now you can just go and anywhere you want for 4 more years. So 6 years they're in college. It's crazy.
And then with the fifth year, that's 7 years in college if they do it that way.
What are we? And I, what I say, I look at that and you smile and laugh, Tracy. It's like, what are we doing? Like, you're an educator, you're teaching young women, young girls to become young women and trying to have a great experience. What are we doing? Like 7 years in college? Like, I mean, there was a weird year in the pandemic and every kid deserved that year back. I think that was the right move. My kid was rewarded with that and it made it a big difference. But like, that was a unique situation once every 100 years. Take that aside. Like, it should be 4. I think it should stay the same, 5 to play 4. And junior college is part of that 5, and you only get to play 4, but that's my vote. And it's not just traditional. I don't know why you need to put another kid for another year in college unless you want to pay for their master's, which again, if that's part of it, then not a bad way, I guess, but it's just weird for me.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But a lot of kids these days, they need that 5th year to graduate. They might need it academically. So it's going to be interesting because it'll be 5 no matter what. It'll be 5 if you don't play. It'll be 5 if you do play. It's just 5 years, So it kind of cleans things up maybe a little bit where it's not, medical red shirt, regular red shirt, 4 years of playing. It's
right.
So
it's all
I'm
possible.
done with playing when I still have a semester left of school. What do I do? Like, things like that, which is the right thing to do for the student athlete, right? To give them that chance to finish their degree, because that's what they're there for the most part, supposed to, be there for. So I didn't look at it from that perspective. I never thought of it from that. I think that's opens my eyes a little bit differently for that 5th year. I just don't think it should be the 2 and JC plus 4 or 5. I mean, I could live with 5. I could live with 5.
Yeah. I could live with 5 too. I hope it passes.
Yeah.
True. Tracy Dahl, Set the Pipe, has great gratitude for you to come on. I've been on her butt for months now. She is a busy woman, successful coach, and we sure are rooting you on towards these into the conference and into the regionals, and of course, getting to the national championships. We're sure rooting for you. Boy, it's been a pleasure to have Tracy Dahl.
Tracy, thank you so much. Congratulations on a great year so far, and go win the region. I know you said you got about a week or 2 left, and then you're in regionals next week, and or the league conference tournament, and then regionals. So go out and make a splash and keep going up, and we'll be cheering for you. And again, can't wait to have you on a day or 2 after you guys win that national championship.
You guys win it.
Thanks again so much for coming on today. Really, really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Go Beach.
Hopefully you had a good time.
Yeah, baby. Go Beach.